Good morning and welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Committee on Veterans. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. No one may approach the dais at any time during today's hearing. Chair, you may begin.
Thank you, Sergeant. Good morning. I am Councilmember Robert Holden, Chair of the Committee on Veterans. Welcome to our oversight hearing on increasing veterans' civic engagement in New York City. In a landmark book of civic responsibility, edited by leading scholar Thomas Eric, civic engagement is defined as working to make a difference in civic life of our communities. The book also notes that a morally and civically responsible individual is willing to take action when appropriate. Well, you know, our veterans have already worked and in some cases sacrificed a great deal to make a difference in the civic life of our nation through their service. Veterans are the walking definition of the morally and civically responsible individuals who have taken action to make a difference. As a result of their service, veterans have a unique perspective on the civic life that they fought to defend, and we should all want to hear their voices, not only when it comes to national issues, but also when it comes to local and state issues, especially those that affect veterans and their families. Right now, veterans here in New York City are working to improve the quality of life in their communities by voting, volunteering with civic community organizations, joining and serving in leadership positions in veteran service organizations, and even running for elected office, even though we need more running for elective office. But it's a start. Then how can our veterans be better supported in their civic work they do now in their communities, and what encouragement might they need to become even more engaged? That is our question today for our witnesses from the DVS, Department of Veterans Services, and from our witnesses who are veterans or represent our veteran community and our veteran service organizations. We look forward to having a discussion with DVS about its current support for veterans' engagement in community volunteer work, including any work that has been done on the Vet the Vote nationwide campaign launched to get veterans and military families to serve as poll workers. Vet the Vote enjoys partnerships with the NBA and with NASCAR in its recruitment campaign. As President Obama tweeted, poll workers power our democracy, helping voters cast their ballots and making sure that elections run smoothly. So far, over 136,000 veterans and family members have been signed up to work for the polls in November. We also look forward to a discussion about the work of our own New York City Veterans Advisory Board, an important civic engagement opportunity for our veterans. Finally, with the deadline for voter registration coming up on October 26, we are very interested in whether any voter registration outreach is being conducted to make sure that the veterans are registered to vote and in the important upcoming elections. And as always, we want to know how the City Council can support all of this work. At this time, I would like to acknowledge my colleagues who are here today, Councilmember Christy Marmorato, and that's it, right? Okay. Also, I would like to thank committee staff who worked to prepare this hearing, John LaRosa, our legislative counsel, Regina Paul, our policy analyst, and Ross Goldstein, our financial analyst. And finally, thanks to my chief of staff, Daniel Kazina, who's standing out somewhere in the hallway, I think. I would also like to turn it over to our legislative counsel to administer the oath to our witnesses from the administration.
Thank you. So we have Commissioner Hendon and Assistant Commissioner Cole Jordan Jones. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this committee, and to respond honestly to council members' questions?
I do.
Thank you. As a reminder to all our witnesses, please state your name prior to your testimony for the record.
Good morning, Chair Holden, committee members and advocates. My name is James Hendon. I serve as Commissioner of the New York City Department of Veteran Services. I'm excited to discuss our department's initiatives and efforts to increase civic engagement among veteran and military families. I'm joined by DVS's Assistant Commissioner for Community Engagement, Nicole Jordan-Jones. And to get right into it, the bedrock of our democracy is civic engagement. Further, the presence of veterans and their loved ones in our neighborhoods enriches our communities and improves our lives. To this point, according to the National Conference on Citizenship's 2021 Veteran Civic Health Index, 75% of veterans voted in the 2020 presidential election compared to 67% of non-veterans. Veterans average 95 hours of volunteering per year compared to 74 hours for civilians. 36.5% of veterans belong to a group compared to 26.5% of non-veterans. Veterans are more than twice as likely to appear in Congress as in the civilian population. Veterans are 5 times more likely than their non-veteran peers to work for the federal government. Veterans are 10% more likely than non-veterans to spend time with neighbors, and nearly 60% of veterans give money to charity, while 52% of non-veterans make charitable contributions. For these and many other reasons, it's essential that we involve veterans and their family members in civic processes and in the day-to-day functions that make community service possible. For many veterans, their service to our nation does not end when they take the uniform off. Rather, it continues daily through their service to friends, family, and the community. It is crucial that our staff at DVS recognize this and work towards supporting our veterans and society at large. Through supporting 3 pillars of engagement, we assist and inform veterans about a myriad of programs that both directly and indirectly promote civic participation. These 3 pillars are volunteer, serve, and lead. First, I'd like to begin with volunteer. Volunteering involves DVS promoting volunteer opportunities which are either curated by our department, run by a sister agency, or organized wholly within the veteran community. Examples of such programs are Mission Vet Check. Mission Vet Check is a buddy check wellness call program. Operated in partnership with New York Cares, volunteers meet weekly to call U.S. military service members past and present in order to check in on them, make them aware of our offerings, and thank them for their service. Emotionally, volunteers convey to New York City veterans that we as a city appreciate them, we see them, and we love them. Through the help of thoughtful volunteers, Mission Vet Check amplifies our agency's ability to go on the offensive in meeting our charter mandate to assist and inform veterans in the areas of healthcare, housing, benefits, culture, education, and employment. More than 16,000 calls were made in support of Mission Vet Check during fiscal year 2024, and please visit nyc.gov/vetcheck to learn more. Emergency food efforts. Every Wednesday, from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., approximately 15 to 25 volunteers, many of whom hail from Black veterans of social justice, pack 2,000 donated HelloFresh meal kits, the equivalent of 8,000 meals, at the Campaign Against Hunger's Brooklyn Community Food Distribution Center located in East New York. Roughly 20 veteran service organizations pick up the meals and deliver them to few food-insecure veterans throughout New York City. In the 4-year history of this program, more than 1.5 million meals have been delivered. The lifeblood of the HelloFresh food work is its volunteers, of which we can always use more. Further information can be found at nyc.gov/vetfood. Veteran Voices Project, or VVP. VVP is an oral history initiative designed to preserve the stories of New York City's veteran community. After being trained and provided with suggested questions by storytellers, volunteers collect the oral histories of veteran and veteran family members. Those histories are then archived by DVS and the Municipal Archives. Recordings are publicly available on SoundCloud and the NYC DVS Veteran Voices Project series on Artifact. We're currently in the process of providing more than 80 of our Veteran Voices Project recordings to the Library of Congress. Details about VVP can be found online at nyc.gov/vetvoices. ETS Sponsorship Program. The Expiration of Terminal Service, or ETS Sponsorship Program, recently rebranded Onward Ops, enables volunteers to mentor transitioning service members as they reintegrate into civilian life. A DVS nonprofit partner, Onward Ops connects new veterans with trained sponsors from the communities to which they will transition. The effort focuses on the 12 months surrounding new veterans' departure from the armed forces. Like our other initiatives, Onward Ops depends on the presence of volunteers. These volunteers serve as the trained sponsors. More information is available at nyc.gov/vetmentor. Other City of New York programs. Beyond the volunteer opportunities curated by DVS, we happily cross-promote volunteer offerings provided by sister agencies including, but not limited to, the NYC Civic Engagement Commission, the Mayor's Public Engagement Unit, NYC Service, NYC Aging, the NYC Department of Parks and Recreation, and the NYC Department of Youth and Community Development. Non-City of New York programs. OurVeterans.nyc is an online community calendar of greater New York City area veteran offerings, programs, and events and volunteer opportunities. Run by the Bob Woodruff Foundation at the behest of DVS. OurVeterans.nyc is a one-stop shop for learning who's doing what, when, and where in our local community, in addition to how to help. Along with posting our own events on the OurVeterans.nyc website, we constantly encourage organizations that ask us to amplify their work to post their events and volunteer opportunities on the OurVeterans.nyc website as well. Details can be found online at OurVeterans.nyc. That was the first pillar of volunteer. The second pillar of our three is serve. Serving involves ways that our veteran community can become civically involved in existing boards, commissions, and engagement platforms across New York City government. Community boards. DVS perennially encourages veterans to serve on their local community board, both in an official appointed capacity and in a non-board member status. Each year, we update the 5 boroughs' community board application guidelines and submission forms once they're available. Applications to be appointed to one's community board, if that board is located in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, or Brooklyn, are due anywhere from mid-February through early March. The deadline varies by borough. The appointment begins on April 1st. For Staten Island, there is a rolling application and no deadline, and we relay this information online at nyc.gov/vetcommunityboards. Veterans Advisory Board. The 13-member New York City Veterans Advisory Board exists according to the city charter to advise DVS, hold regular public meetings tailored to the veteran community, and submit an annual report to the mayor and city council, which includes policy and legislative recommendations for DVS and the council. Our agency promotes Veterans Advisory Board meetings at nyc.gov/vetboard. We also maintain biographical information about the board, prior meeting minutes, recordings, and yearly reports at nyc.gov/vetboard. We encourage more of our veteran community members to attend VAB meetings so that they can meet one another, raise issues, and be heard. Boards and commissions. We are happy to cross-promote appointment opportunities to the more than 200 City of New York boards and commissions. We recognize the value that veteran community members bring to all aspects of city government. Details can be found online at nyc.gov/appointments in the Boards and Commissions tab. Community engagement sessions. Community engagement sessions are virtual quarterly meetings that DVS holds with leaders in the veteran community. Our definition of a leader is any person who helps one or more veterans or their loved ones. During community engagement sessions, we update leaders on DVS developments, discuss in detail a veteran services topic that ties back to one of our charter-mandated areas, and create a space for leaders to provide us with thoughts and feedback on agency activities. Details about community engagement sessions can be found on the DVS homepage in the tile that appears front and center. Visit nyc.gov/vets to learn more. So we talked about volunteer, we talked about serve. Our third and final pillar of engagement is lead. Leading in this context involves ways that veteran-serving entities can leverage available local government resources in order to fuel and maximize the value that their organizations deliver to our community. There are 2 efforts that I'd like to highlight with regard to leading. First is the Joseph P. Dwyer Program. The private first-class Joseph P. Dwyer Program is a New York State-funded effort which aims to increase social engagement and connectivity for U.S. military veterans and their families. After starting in 2012 with 12 New York communities, Dwyer initially excluded New York City. The state legislature has recently expanded the program to include 25 communities. New York City is now a Dwyer Program funding recipient. Funding for the Dwyer Program flows from the state to the NYC Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to us at DVS. Through DVS, New York City is the first community to receive Dwyer money and then take measures to issue the funding to multiple veteran-serving organizations in a dispersed, hyper-local way. Here in the 5 boroughs, Dwyer will empower frontline organizations to normalize help-seeking behavior amongst veteran and military families. Our spirit is to treat this like it's a grant program for our veteran-serving institutions. That said, we are conducting this effort in the context of Mayor's Office of Contract Services guidelines and Procurement Policy Board rules. The deadline for veteran-serving organizations to apply for this inaugural post-pilot round of Dwyer funding is Monday, September 30th, 2024 at 2 p.m. Please visit nyc.gov/vetdwyer to learn more. New York City Council funding. We perennially encourage all veteran-serving organizations to apply for discretionary funding from the New York City Council. Council discretionary funding is the most enduring, long-standing resource available to the 501c3s, 501c19s, and other nonprofits that support U.S. military service members past and present in the city of New York. Given that the deadline to apply for council funding is in mid to late February, we update our website with information about the council funding application process as soon as it is made public. Details would speak to the most recent council funding process, FY25, but are still relevant to next year's process, FY26, can be found online at nyc.gov/vetcouncilfunding. It is important to note that for both of these efforts, the Dwyer Program and council funding, we encourage veteran-serving nonprofits that help navigating city procurement systems, that need help navigating city procurement systems, to contact our friends at the LaGuardia Community College Apex Accelerator for technical assistance. Details about how to schedule a meeting with the LaGuardia Community College Apex Accelerator can be found at nyc.gov/vetdwyer. We do not want anyone to say that they were not afforded the tools to compete for these resources. Self-identification. Despite what we offer in terms of volunteer, serve, and lead, all is for naught if we cannot identify veterans and dually inspire them to self-identify, to proactively come out of the shadows, to level set. According to the VA's most recent gross domestic expenditure report for FY23, nationwide, 34.3% of U.S. military veterans self-identifies. The proportion drops to 29.8% in New York State and 24.1% in New York City. In other words, for every New York City veteran that you see, like me and several in this room, there are 3 you do not see. We put volunteer, serve, and lead forward. Those are our civic engagement pillars. We advance them proudly, but we cannot have a real discussion about civic engagement until we identify more of our people. A few of our strategies in this regard follow. Local Law 37 of 2024, passed by the City Council late last year and taking effect in 2024. Local Law 37 mandates that City of New York agencies include all client-facing city forms, and quoting the local law, the forms must include a question about whether such person or any member of their household has served in the armed forces, National Guard, or reserves of the United States. This is the first year that this question has been mandated by law. We are excited about what the future holds as we prepare to report on the results from this question, provided by other agencies, and including ourselves, no later than December 15th. We anticipate that this law will go a long ways towards helping us identify New York City veterans. DoD data for transitioning service members. In October 2022, after years of advocacy in partnership with the National Association of State Directors, Veterans Affairs, DVS began receiving DD-214 data from the U.S. Department of Defense for all veterans whose mailing address after separation from October 2022 onward was within New York City. This autumn, through the same program, we will begin receiving Transition Assistance Program data for future veterans who have not yet left military service, but who have indicated on their pre-separation counseling checklist in the form, this is the form placing them in TAP, that they will transition within the next 12 months to the city of New York. We will be able to contact these future veterans before they leave the military. Through these efforts, as time goes by, we will form and nurture relationships with more New York City veterans starting from day one of their veteran existence. They will be identified. An update, we got the information today. Like this morning before coming to this hearing, we received the information, so now we know prior to someone's getting out that they have said they want to come to New York so we can reach out to them while they're going through the TAP process. That literally happened at 9:18 a.m. Data sharing with the New York State Department of Veteran Services. DVS recently executed a data sharing agreement with our state-level counterparts at New York State DVS. This two-way agreement allows us to share contact information about the veterans whom we assist. It allows us to amplify one another's outreach, increasing our known universe of veterans. Equally important, New York State DVS receives contact information from the Department of Motor Vehicles for all New Yorkers who place the word veteran on their driver's license. Specific to New York City, we will receive that information as well. Beyond these ways of identifying veterans, we recognize that performing our core work, delivering veteran services in a professional, efficient, empathetic way will generate goodwill and encourage more of our brothers and sisters and their families to come out of the shadows. Delivering marquee services, promoting those services, and undergirding our work with strong alliances and partnerships are keys to inspiring more of our veterans to come online. That, in turn, fosters a dynamic where more veterans will discover and embrace civic engagement. In conclusion, we are grateful for this opportunity to testify on the topic of improving veteran civic engagement. As always, we're happy to answer any questions that the committee may have. More information about DVS's community programs can be found online at nyc.gov/vets. Volunteer opportunities are explicitly highlighted at nyc.gov/vetvolunteer. Lastly, speaking of engagement, if you are attending an institution of higher learning or enrolled in a training program and your institution is partly or fully subsidized by the VA, in other words, you like someone participating in vocational rehab, or veteran or dependent using the post 9/11 GI Bill, please know that the VA Work Study Program is an opportunity for you to be compensated by the VA to work part-time at a VA-approved site while you matriculate. If you're interested in applying for a DVS-specific work-study position and meet eligibility requirements, please submit a resume and cover letter to VA Work Study at veterans.nyc.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And speaking of the work study, I taught 40 years at CUNY, and we had our work study students were mostly veterans at that time, which was great. And I got to know, some were actually, when I started teaching, some were older than I was at that time, and they it was kind of interesting. But they gave me a perspective that I carried to this day about volunteering and all the work they did and what they went through. But let me just get some questions, and I'm going to go off script a little bit. Do we know how many veterans sit on community boards?
We don't know the exact number. I'll
Yeah.
pass to Nicole to add anything to that, our AC for community engagement.
No, sir, we don't know the exact numbers.
Could you, yeah.
I got it.
We don't have the, got it? Okay, we don't have the exact number, but I do know currently there are 7 boards that have veteran service that have committees that
Right.
service veterans.
By the way, we're joined by Councilmember Nurse. I served on the community board for 30 years, and I just want to, a couple of days ago, I went online to see if I can get a community board application to see if veterans or, that little box was put on there, and I couldn't find that many applications. Only one community board, in fact. I didn't search for hours, but I did search many community boards. There's no application available even, because they open up a period. I think it should be open all year round, community board applications for everyone, and you apply. So we'll talk to, certainly if we have to have a local law to do that, we'll do that. But the form that I did get, it didn't say anything, nothing, no mention of veterans, no if you're a veteran, and so forth. So the fact that, we can easily get that information about how many veterans serve on the community board by just somebody actually, spending a few days and calling or writing or emailing. But I know that's I had asked that we have, and it could take a law, but I had asked that we have a veterans committee on every community board. But then we got some pushback saying, well, not that many veterans are sitting on community board, and I couldn't give them an answer on how many. So if we can get that and make sure that, since the veterans have a lot to offer, we know that in your testimony and certainly what I read, they're probably the biggest population that could offer probably life experience and a lot more than just in their own community. They could offer a worldview. So if we can get that on the form, if we can encourage, if your office can encourage community boards to all include that on their forms, I'd appreciate that. All right.
In a soft way, we can bring it up, Mr. Chair, because we're constantly touching these community boards. So under Nicole's leadership, we're always making sure we have lines of communication with the CBs, so we can ask and gently, suggest, and also try to ask how many veterans are you aware of who are on this.
Right. So I think it's important because we have to tap into a population that served us, and try to get them their perspective on it. And I'd like to have at least a few veterans on every community board if that's possible, and that's our goal. So what has DVS done to support the nationwide Vet the Vote campaign to recruit election day poll workers from our veteran community?
So we haven't tied in with Vet the Vote, Mr. Chair. Also, we don't tie in with these types of organizations in general as far as us proactively reaching out to them. We know that our friends at Civic Engagement Commission do have the Democracy NYC campaign, that $2 million campaign to do voter education, to get folks signed up to be able to vote ahead of the June primary. But we, as an agency, do not directly, proactively reach out to those entities.
All right. And what about your efforts to, what's DVS doing to encourage veterans to register to vote? I mean, that's, that I think is very important. And when your testimony is veterans register more than the general population, which is good. I'm glad to hear that. But what are we doing to actually get more veterans to register?
What's tough about that, Mr. Chair, is that for us, it different ways to respond to this. One is that it's not within our charter as far as this area. For us, it's assist and inform in the areas of education, employment, healthcare, housing, benefits, culture. That's one piece. Another piece of this is, we worry about in any way being perceived as being political. It's so touchy to get into things that involve political education to get out the vote. And there are other organizations that already do this. And so we, kind of see that landscape. But then we are wary about, we don't want to in any way be perceived as being partisan or leaning any direction.
Well, you're just saying to vote. You're not saying who to vote for. You just vote. And it's important to get the voices from our veterans to vote. So, and listen, the general population, everybody should vote. Mm-hmm. It should be, it should be on everyone's list of things to do on election day or even prior to that. But again, it's transitioning from military life to civilian life. To focus on what they could do for their communities is important. So when you said you get the list of people who are looking to New York to settle after their military life, there should be some kind of message to them on volunteer, and you mentioned a bunch, but just in their local communities, how to volunteer. And again, that could come from the VA or DVS, but even an email, something to that effect could help. What role does the Veterans Advisory Board play in advising DVS? Because I know you go on to those meetings, and I appreciate that you and your staff do that.
It's important for us for people to feel like they can be heard at forums like this and at the VAB, and that they can interact with their government. And so for us, the VAB by function holds its 5 meetings, once in each borough per year, and they do produce a report that is sent to the mayor and the speaker with recommendations, policy and legislative, as far as veteran services and how the city renders them. For us, we try to take that feedback and see what can we move the needle on. How can we be of value in certain ways to advance things that they're recommending? Just a few examples include the transition to us to starting to manage some of these small dollar contracts coming to our veteran organizations as far as discretionary contracts as an example. Another one for us is just the expansion of the board from having 11 members to 13 members. So now 2 seats, one for the speaker, one for the mayor, who are appointed as family members. Just recognizing, I got to call out Councilmember Nurse here, who herself is a military family member, and so we think about our family members as well. Another example of something we've done, that at the behest of the board, has been, bringing together our veteran street vendors, many of whom are here today. We had a convening just last November with that group and different factors in government between the different agencies that interact with our street vendors, and even setting up online nyc.gov/vet-vendor, so that our vendors know, here's a person from sanitation who works on veterans issues that involve vending. Here's a person from consumer affairs who works on veteran vending. Here's a person from parks. Here's a person from the health department, from small business services, et cetera. So to try to get that throughput, that's something that came from the board. And there's several other things that we've done that have been involved with taking the board's input.
How do you judge? I'll just turn to my colleague, Councilmember Nurse. You have a question?
Thank you, Chair. I did have a question, and thanks for letting me jump in because I have a landmarks committee vote right now. So I have 3 kind of things to touch on. I know that the chair mentioned community boards. And my understanding is, I believe the law is coming up soon where there's term limits, and so I think it would be really great to do some proactive outreach and education and workshops on preparing veterans and communities to enter community boards, considering there'll probably be a very, very high turnover of membership in community boards given how long people serve on them. So this is a great opportunity. And the other question I had was if you all collaborate with BOE at all, or if BOE has ever done any proactive outreach with you all around a kind of veteran voter registration or any outreach campaigns?
We have not, Councilman Morris, as far as direct collaboration with BOE. We may have a line of communication with BOE, but we've not done a coordinated event along those lines. We reached out to BOE in the past about having them speak at a Veterans Advisory Board meeting. That was something that we tried to arrange. This was, back in 2021. But that's the greatest touch we've had with them.
Yeah, maybe we should bug BOE to really take the initiative and reach out to the veterans. And I think it's important to mention that a lot of service members, if they go in very early, if they go in really young, they lose out on the experience of that local democracy at home. And so they might not even be familiar with local government structures such as community boards, city council, things like that. I mean, when I was growing up in the military, we didn't have those things. We vote by absentee ballot if there is any awareness and education. So it takes time to relearn, or actually learn for the first time, depending on how long you served and when you join, what is civic participation for you, because you're coming from a top-down structure so much that you're not even thinking about that. So I really think the education piece is super important for folks coming, that you're now getting the data from, who are transitioning in. I think that's really great that that data has come in today. But that was all I had to ask.
May I just add something to what you just said? Another thing to point out is that half of veterans settle down in the place they're not originally from. So you have folks, so it's educating them about what it means to be involved in local government, but also introducing them to New York City as far as different organizations and just the networks here. Because about 200,000 folks leave the military each year. 10,000 come to the state of New York, 5,000 come to the city of New York approximately. And we're assuming roughly half of these people have never lived here before. So this is a learning curve that we need to address.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. We've been joined by Councilmember Palladino.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just back to the VAB. How does DVS judge the effectiveness of the VAB and its members? Do you actually look at the participation of its members in the VAB?
Well, it's not within our mission set. That's not one of our.
But you could
areas
make
of focus.
recommendations to the mayor.
For us, I think that the way that we measure it is really how dynamic is the relationship, how well do we work together, and looking at what successes do we have as far as, the VAB making a recommendation and us sticking the landing and saying we were able to bring this to fruition. I think that's the way we look at it, or at least the way I look at it as far as the synergy with it. So.
But your contact with VAB, is it a monthly check-in, or is it bi-monthly? How does that work on getting the right people on the Veterans Advisory Board, and some of their recommendations in the past? You highlighted one or two, I think. What are some of the major recommendations that they made that you feel really helped DVS, helped you in your role as commissioner?
I think one that we haven't seen the fruit come yet, but it's in the oven, so to speak, is Vet Connect NYC and how we're operating it. There was a lot of feedback that the VAB had about how that platform, this is the digital services platform through which we connect veterans to service providers. And right now we are, we ended the contract with one vendor we've been working with, and now we're working with another. So we had Unite Us was a vendor we used for several years, and we're transitioning to Combined Arms. A lot of what we're doing with Combined Arms, it is really fueled by input from the Veterans Advisory Board. We're in the data migration period right now where they're setting things up so that will be what undergirds the portal. But that's a very important thing as far as just feedback from the VAB that I think that we've really taken to heart and that directly reflects in our execution.
So the veteran service organizations, which we both are involved with, do you talk to them about getting their members engaged, not only in community boards, but joining the community groups, civic associations, and so forth? Do you, because I do that on my level, trying to get them to connect with at least the community boards and civic associations. So some are doing that already, but do you have that any formal program?
A couple of things. So each quarter we have a community engagement session where we invite all leaders in the veteran community. It's a virtual session where we just want to have a place, a forum where if you're a leader in the community, you can be able to speak to us and vice versa. If you have needs, you can air them. You can always reach out to us offline, but we try to have these organic bullets as one mechanism to be able to touch folks. I'd say the closest we come to what you're saying, Mr. Chair, is if someone is looking to apply for council funding, we will do the best we can to try to help them put together their packet for that. We can't do it for them, but we can give them all the appropriate guidance on it and how that may tie into having to coordinate or liaise with your elected official, with this committee and other bodies.
Yeah, 'cause that is a major challenge on it, and most not-for-profits.
Please jump in, please jump in.
Yeah.
Chair, community boards are also invited and they participate in the CEM meetings.
Good, great, all right. So, again, speaking on like what the city council can do, what additional resources or support does DVS need from the city council to enhance civic engagement among veterans in New York City?
I've got something, before I say something, I want to go back to a comment on VAB. I got to give VAB a great deal of credit for this. They asked us, please put the hearing notifications in the newsletter. Please make sure that stuff is available on social media. And I feel like from the point when they asked that, we started to see, for those who attend these meetings, we started to see some sort of increase in attendance. And so I've got to give VAB credit for that, as far as something in real time we can see, as far as them making a suggestion, us taking it and seeing some sort of action on it. I just want to acknowledge that.
Great.
But to the other question, I think something that can move the needle the most, Mr. Chair, we've got 50 to 60 veteran organizations that receive discretionary funding each year, roughly. There's nothing that asks that those organizations tie in with DVS so that we can cross-promote and be aware of what they're doing and get the word out. And so if there was some way that we could arrange things where if you receive council funding, you've got to come on the net with DVS and let us know about whatever that event is so that we can amplify it. I don't know how that would sound as far as the legal language, but I think that's something that can definitely amplify our ability to touch folks and to just take what you're investing in through the council and ensure that it has the maximum effect.
Yeah, we do have internship programs too within the city council offices. So we could actually do a program, and I think that if that comes from your office, it can come from this committee, but I think if we got support from DVS on, let's say, hire a vet or, allow veteran opportunities within the council offices, I think that's the way to get the word out too, to constituents. Because we see dozens of constituents a day, and then we also have regular town meetings in my office and around my office. So getting the word out that way and having a veteran speak to the public is also very, very important.
I think something to add to this, because you're speaking of the existing internship opportunities and us getting the word out about that. Something that we're very much open to, and I'm saying this, we're both city government at the end of the day. We're both State of New York, just we work in different places in the city. We're an approved SkillBridge partner. SkillBridge is a Department of Defense program where someone who is within their last 6 months of service can, so long as their senior supervisor approves, work for a military government-related organization, be it working for the city of New York or working in the private sector, working with a nonprofit, and it's work that can be done full-time as far as either hybrid, remote,
right,
or in person. And so we have a SkillBridge intern ourselves with us, a young man who's a Marine transitioning out. His name's William. He's he's just leaving the Marine Corps, looking at what he's doing, but he's been with us. And that's a program where I think that this is something we could also work on, where if someone is looking to be SkillBridge, we can be the administrative lead for it, but have that person in your office, Councilmember Marmorato, or Councilmember Palladino, Councilmember Holden. So that's something we can look at doing with the council.
So here's another question that you're probably not going to be able to answer. There's only a few, but this is, how many council members are veterans, do you know of?
To our knowledge, none.
None.
Mr. Chair, at this time.
Right.
Yeah.
None. All right, and I'm included in that. So, however, we have to change that. Do you have any ideas? Because I'm trying to figure it out. What I'm trying to get more people to run for office, when I find someone that actually they're not really entrenched in a political party, that they care about their neighborhoods and they care about their community and they care about the city. But when I meet people, it's important to see their motives for running for office. Not that they're part of a club, clubhouse or anything else, that they're part of engaging in their community's leadership. And veterans are a group that I could say are mostly leaders. in one way or another. So how do we do it? And I'd like to just, again, off the cuff, no notes, just like, how do we get people, veterans, to run for office more? How do we engage them to get involved?
I feel like, and this is me with the DVS hat on, it really comes down to outreach and identifying more people. This is an M&M's game to me, meaning that each council member on average represents 171,000 people for our 51 council members. So you're looking for that green M&M that'll be that one that could potentially be that if we're talking about the council. We need more M&Ms in the jar in the first place to get the green one. And so to me, a lot of the work for us on DVS's side is what are we doing to continue to identify folks and engage them and just bring them into the community so that they are already, tied in so they can take advantage of opportunities. It's not on us to be that group that does the political education, but if we animate more people to become civically involved, those things will inevitably take place. There are other groups and organizations that do the political education, the grooming, but for us, it's just getting more folks to come on the net.
Right, but again, when you come, you talk to a veteran and you could hear in their voice that they're, obviously they have that capability or they have that wherewithal. Put that in the back of your mind just to try to get them to run, encourage them to run, and if they, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it. It's important that we try to get more leaders who are veterans in the city, just based on the city council that we're seeing today with no members.
I think what's tough for
I
us
don't think
is-
I can remember a time when that was like that, where we had no veterans on it.
What's tough for me is the top thing for me is identifying the veterans. And I feel like if we got into this space as DVS, then it would make it harder for us to identify
Right.
the veterans. That's my worry.
Yeah,
is
I
that
know,
we
but
have people who
you talk to veterans all, every day of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So just, again, just keep that in the back of your mind. Any questions from my colleagues?
No, just a statement.
Councilmember.
To go back to what Bob just brought up. I have a Navy vet, young girl, 36 years old, who's been renting the apartment upstairs from my house. And sadly, she's going back to Idaho to run for office. She's off the charts bright, and she stayed here about 5 or 6 years, to what you're saying. And I said, Andrea, why don't you run for office? You would be outstanding. And she says, no, not here. I'm going to go back home to Idaho. And that's what she's doing. But to your point, Commissioner, we always end up at the back at this very same space, which is they need to self-identify for us to know that they're vets and that we could take it that one step further with them once we know we're talking to a vet. And then we could explore and have through conversation, try to figure out where their niches. A lot of them are working already and never claimed that they were veterans. And again, we come back to the same thing, that they're entitled to just so many benefits, and I implore them to get involved and to find out what's there. And these younger people in their 40s and 50s, and some are in their late 20s. Doesn't seem like anybody wants to self-identify, which I think is a shame. So, we're working with a small number that we know of, but we know the number is far greater than that. But she.
Councilor Marmorato, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Hi. I just want to touch on what you mentioned earlier about the $2 million for a campaign to outreach to voters for the veterans. Does that $2 million come out of your $5 million budget, or is that
Good
separate?
question. That's separate. That's the
Okay.
Civic Engagement Commission.
I was gonna
It's
say.
it's the Democracy NYC initiative, and so that's a separate agency that runs that.
Okay.
Councilmember, yeah.
All right, I was going to say that
Yeah.
would be kind of tough.
Yeah.
I just want to know, what are you doing to outreach to younger veterans? Because I feel like as I go to these organizations and the Legions and the veterans organizations, I feel like the medium age is kind of a little bit higher up there. And I was just wondering, what are we going to do to get the younger veterans involved?
Well, I think one piece of it is that 1 year when someone leaves the military, if they're not tethered, that's something that is called the deadly gap, as far as the incidence of suicide in our community are significantly higher in that 1 year post leaving the military if no one grabs them as they transition from military to civilian life. And so we're trying to grab more of those folks. And so that's why it's so important as far as those who are just transitioning, that literally as of this morning now, when someone indicates, and it's a DD 2648 form, it's a pre-separation checklist. When they indicate, I'm getting out of the Army, the Navy, Air Force, Marines, et cetera, and I'm going to New York, we get that information so we can start to communicate with them right away. So this is a way for someone to not fall into the shadows. So that's one thing that we're doing. Another thing is, we do have the DD-214s I mentioned. So once the separation paperwork is actually processed, as soon as it's processed each week, we get that information. So we're able to try to put hands on folks who are just coming to us. Another area of penetration for us is trying to reach out to more veterans through social media. And so just want to call out the efforts of our comms team, our press secretary, our digital communications manager, Chuck Rivera, and Curtis Dorval, who, looking at just the most recent MMR report, a MERS management report that's gone out, that the impressions across various platforms have surged by 54% from FY23 to FY24, more than 474,000. And just things that they've done to just expand outreach and marketing efforts digitally and through other means, which we've seen move the needle. Even online site visits to the DVS website, there's a 21% increase from the previous year. And it's really about diversified strategies. So when we say diversified, we are talking about direct mail, traditional outreach, informationals, text messages, social media, print newspaper. But when it comes to the online piece, we pray that that's a way for us to bring more of our younger veterans into the fray.
Okay. If there's any material that you would like to pass along to my office, as far as like posting on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, I'd be more than happy to do that, just to help with the outreach.
We'll follow up.
Thank
Not
you.
just with you, we'll follow up with the council members too,
Yeah.
with all the members.
Great.
with this.
Thank you so much.
As you were asking that question, and what could we do to actually expand civic engagement within our veteran community? I come from advertising, so I always think social media campaign, advertising. Social media costs nothing to put out, and designing posters or just an ad campaign could be done within our CUNY schools, our colleges that have design departments. And I come from that, by the way. So, we always worked with City Hall when I was a professor at City Tech, and we did public service campaigns, that's a win-win. It's win for the students designing a real campaign, and certainly it's a win to the not-for-profits. And certainly if we do a veteran campaign, even on self-identification, be proud of your service. A campaign like that, just to back that veteran and into civilian life, and then telling them how to actually work with your community, to be part of the community, to feel that they have something to offer. So I'm gonna work with some colleges, and maybe you can visit with me or one time in a couple of days and just engage with some of our students in college to come up with a campaign to try to get veterans not only to self-identify but also civic engagement, which is the topic of this. And it's done very easily. It's not that difficult. So, and again, any other, before I let you go, any other questions or plans that you have to expand civic engagement for our veterans other than what we mentioned today? Any other ideas that you might have?
I think beyond what we've mentioned as far as just continuing to identify veterans and focus on these pillars of volunteer, serve, lead, nothing more I can mention at this time, Mr. Chair.
Great. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Keep the great work and appreciate your, anybody else? Okay, we're good. Thank you. Thanks so much for your testimony. This is it. Okay. Okay, I'm now going to open the hearing for public testimony. I remind members of the public that this is a formal government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent at all times. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant-at-Arms for inclusion in the hearing. If you wish to speak at today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card. It kind of looks like this, or it is this. with the Sergeant at Arms and wait to be recognized. When recognized, you will have, I guess I'm going to expand it to 3 minutes. Okay, you'll have 3 minutes to speak on today's topic. The topic is increasing veterans' civic engagement in New York City. So, Sergeant, we're going to do 3 minutes rather than the 2. If you have written statement or additional written testimony you wish to submit for the record, please provide a copy of that testimony to the Sergeant at Arms. Please note that witnesses who are here will testify before those on Zoom. I will now call the first panel. This is it. All right. Professor Alan M. McFarland, you can come up. Brian Ellicott Cook and Ashton Stewart. Professor, you want to start? Okay.
Well, good morning. Alan McFarland. Freedom is not free. These are the immortal words of the retired United States Air Force Colonel Walter Hitchcock of the New Mexico Military Institute. I refer to and share this quote often as it is foundational to the mission we hold dear at New York University in service to student veterans and military-connected students. Good morning again, I'm Alan McFarland. I'm a 3-time graduate of New York University, currently employed as the Associate Dean for Outreach and Engagement in the NYU Office of the Dean of Students. I have been employed by NYU for over 40 years, and I serve as the director of the NYU Military Alliance. I proudly served the United States Air Force and was stationed at Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, now Joint Base Langley. Thank you, Councilmember Holden and the committee for the invitation to testify today. I'm grateful and humbled to provide you with this helpful information or any helpful information about the NYU Military Alliance and respond to your questions. It so happens that the Alliance is celebrating its 15th year at New York University. In 2009, the Alliance was established by a consortium of university units and a notable alumni such as the celebrated journalist and author Mr. Pete Hamill, U.S. Navy veteran, may he rest in peace, and Major Christopher Tripp Zanatas, pilot, U.S. Air Force Air National Guard, and FDNY Fire Marshal. While at NYU, Tripp was a member of the NYU Student Senate and class president. Major Zanatas perished in Iraq along with 6 other airmen in a helicopter crash in 2018. His leadership remains an inspiration and is an exemplar in how colleges can be a pipeline to public service and civic engagement. About the Military Alliance, first, we are committed partners with the Student Club, the NYU Student Veterans Association, and the Office of Student Success. I would also like to give a shout out to my colleague, Assistant Director of Student Veteran Transition and Success, Army veteran Stephen Westby, and our other division units within university life and our work across schools with the Military Connected Student Standing Committee. We host a number of programs from open houses to the military ball at NYU. Our base, if you will, is the Military Alliance Community Center Lounge. The MAC, as it is known, is a destination for student veterans and military-connected students to meet, foster community, learn about services at NYU, the VA, and beyond. The Honorable Veterans Administration Secretary Dennis McDonough visited our lounge in April 2024, and he was a featured speaker at NYU that invited veterans from across the city and other local universities, and some folks are here. Finally, our theme this year is Adapt, Adjust, and Connect. As student veterans and military-connected students endeavor to meet their educational belonging and career goals, this theme specifically addresses what we learned from the Military Connected Student Survey in 2024 that was administered by my office and the Office of Student Success. It was a sobering reminder that veterans have so much to contribute, but with so much sacrifice, there remains this persistent challenges for adjusting to civilian life. So conversely, here is a golden opportunity to harness their lived experiences in establishing outcomes for their success and engagement with society at large. As we partner with our veteran and military connected students and university departments, I would like to thank our NYU Government Relations Office, the Student Veteran Association Club Partnership, the vast VA resources, and other notable organizations that are steadfast in their commitment to veterans. Even when it comes to new emerging technologies such as AI and other growing sectors of our economy, I cannot think of a better community to tap into for their love of country and service for a career in many professions, and especially public service. Thank you again for your commitment and support for veterans. I look forward to our dialogue this morning.
Thank you, Professor, for that. Thank you. Brian?
Good morning, Chair Holden and distinguished members of the Committee of Veterans. My name is Brian Ellicott Cook. My pronouns are they and he, and I serve as the Director of Government Relations of Sage Serves, a division of Sage, the nation's oldest organization dedicated to improving the lives of LGBTQ+ older adults. Today I'm here to highlight the importance of civic engagement for veterans, particularly LGBTQ+ veterans, and explore how New York City Department of Veterans Services can better serve this community. Sage Serves has served veterans of the LGBTQ community who are over age 50 since the creation of our Sage Vets program, and I was the program manager of that program until 3 months ago. The importance of civic engagement for LGBT veterans is crucial. Civic engagement is the cornerstone of healthy democracy. For veterans, particularly LGBTQ veterans, participation in civic life is not only a continuing service of their country, but an essential pathway to ensuring that their unique voices and needs are heard. LGBTQ+ veterans face unique challenges ranging from discrimination within and outside military to health disparities that persist throughout their service. Civic engagement empowers LGBT veterans to shape their society that it is more inclusive and responsive of their needs, particularly in the areas like healthcare, housing, and mental health services. However, it is important to recognize the complex nature of engaging veterans in civic life. Veterans are not a monolithic group. Their experiences, their needs, their priorities vary based on factors of the area in which they served, their branch of service, their personal experiences in and out of uniform. For LGBT veterans, this complexity further amplified by the history of discrimination, both within the military and in civilian life. Many LGBT veterans who served under discriminatory policies like Don't Ask, Don't Tell, or who were discharged due to their sexual orientation, gender identity, often have deep scars. These experiences can lead to distrust of institutions, including government agencies, which can hinder their willingness to engage in civilian life and civic engagement. I do have 5 ways that we can do this better: targeted outreach and education, cultural competence services, support for mental health and social isolation, advocacy for policy change, like you said, Councilmember Holden, their ability to self-identify both as a veteran and as a member of the LGBTQ community could go a long way. That would help strengthen civic engagement, is just being able to identify all the boxes, not just 1 or 2. I want to thank you for allowing me to testify and also partnering with SAGE. We do a lot of civic engagement around getting out to vote. I have a great relationship with the commissioner, and we can do a lot more together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Good morning. My name is Ashton Stewart. Chair Holden, members of the Council Committee on Veterans, thank you for holding this hearing today. I'm a Navy veteran who served in the First Gulf War, and I'm also the veteran liaison at MGHS, working in hospice and palliative care. Yesterday was National Voter Registration Day, and 10 years ago I was the executive director at the League of Women Voters of the City of New York, and I produced a very large National Voter Registration Day event right here at City Hall Park, partnering with CUNY, the New York City Board of Elections, and Voto Latino. We held a mock election using the new voting machines. We had Lady Pink, who I commissioned to create a spray paint mural depicting the word vote to show the power and struggle behind the word. As you know, the suffrage movement was very powerful in earning the women the right to vote. It's now housed at the New York Historical Society's museum. It was 10 foot by 12 foot. It was awesome. It was a great day. Getting back to MJHS, it's a not-for-profit health system that was founded in 1907 and has grown into one of the largest health systems in the region. And volunteerism is a key part of our hospice programs. MJHS understands the unique needs and challenges that face veterans of all cultural backgrounds as they approach the end of life, including the very real and often not yet need for the unmatched peer-to-peer support from other veterans. MJHS is proud to be a part of the We Honor Veterans National Initiative, which is a partnership between the VA and the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization. Last year, we earned the 2023 We Honor Veterans Outstanding Program Award. And we also they connected us to several civilian volunteers. And I just don't want this to get lost. Civilians who work with the volunteer population are so important because they are the bridge to get the trust from the veterans to self-identify. I've seen this in examples with one veteran in particular. He was speaking with a social worker, he trusted her. He shared that he was a veteran. He shared that he got kicked out in boot camp out of this terrible thing that happened to him. And then she reached out to me to help advocate for him. We got him housing help. We got him inducted into New York State Veterans Hall of Fame. We got him comfortable identifying as a veteran. And it was huge. And it was all because of that one social worker. At MGHS, we've had one volunteer who finished our onboarding process, and he's helped us put together our packets for veterans and their families with proclamations signed by Governor Hochul and a We Honor Veteran certificate. And he is getting more involved in the program. He represented us at the United Veterans War Council event for Vietnam Veterans Recognition Day. He's getting more involved in the work we're doing. We had another volunteer who spoke fluent Mandarin who helped us connect with a family of a Chinese veteran who didn't really, it was great because may I just finish this one little anecdotal piece? She spoke his language, and I think the cultural connection that they shared, after we got his permission to connect them, we were able to share resources with him that he was unaware of, and that was incredibly helpful. So when we work with veterans in the veteran space, it's just crucial, and I want to work with the council in any way I can to try to get more veterans involved in this work and more advocates that want to support veterans, and certainly more veterans who want to run for office. Thank you.
That's what we really need. I mean, that's it from today. But I think all of you can help on the front lines, and I thank you for all your great work. I mean, all three groups are amazing. But thank you all for your testimony. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Next panel, Erin Verrier, Dondi McKellar, Joshua Sukla. Sorry.
Can I submit? Thank you. I don't know whose this is.
Erin, you want to start?
Sure, yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Erin Verrier, and I am the Manager of Policy and External Affairs at Community Healthcare Network, otherwise known as CHN. We are a federally qualified health center with 14 sites citywide that provide critical primary care and social services for patients in underserved communities. While our services are many, I'm here today to speak about the work that we do for veterans, supporting their health and mental well-being. Our Military Family Wellness Program connects active and former service members to health and social services. Each participant is screened and assessed for mental health needs by a licensed clinical social worker and can receive referrals for services like individual and family counseling, psychiatry, medication management, as well as medical care, dental services, and other social services, including legal support services provided by our program partner, Veterans Advocacy Project. With the Veterans Advocacy Project, our program participants can receive assistance for public benefits, VA claims, discharge upgrade applications, housing support, and other civil legal issues. The Veterans Advocacy Project works closely with CHN staff to ensure continuity of care and also provides CHN staff training on cultural competency when working with veterans and understanding their legal needs. To speak to our program's impact, in one example, a 44-year-old Army veteran was referred to our program given his mental health concerns and housing instability. A CHN social worker provided a mental health assessment, identified the need for a higher level of care, and helped him schedule an initial intake appointment at the VA for treatment. The social worker also referred to the patient to Veterans Advocacy Project for assistance with rental arrears. The patient is now attending regular talk therapy and psychiatric appointments at the VA while receiving legal representation for his housing concerns. In another example, a 33-year-old U.S. Navy veteran and single mother of two was referred to our program given her child care and employment concerns. With CHN, she learned how to apply for a child care voucher, how to contact the Veterans Center for Employment Assistance. The patient is now approved for child care vouchers and is working closely with the Veterans Center to attend career events and build relations with future employers. All of this to support their their current civic engagement. So we're proud and honored overall to work with our veteran population, and we greatly appreciate City Council's support for our program. We're committed to this program's continuation and look forward to sharing our progress in the year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Good morning, committee. Good morning, Chair Holden. My name is Joshua Suklon. I am a student at John Jay. I work for a nonprofit, Hope for the Warriors, and I'm on the Veterans Advisory Board. I'm here to address increasing civic engagement. Like you said earlier, Chair Holden, there is not a veteran on the City Council, but there is one veteran running that I know of, and he's a good friend of mine. In the end, I think in order to increase civic engagement, well, we need the support, and as you can see right here, we have the support. What we don't have is the support of the city, and that's unfortunate. I go through day in, day out, schools, homeless shelters, you name it, I'm in it. When I'm speaking to a veteran and they are telling me the atrocities that are happening, I just can't help but, well, call the commissioner, because he picks up his phone. But for them being the least funded city agency, I feel like that's a downfall. If you can't support veterans, then who else can you support? We mean something. They're my family. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Good morning, Councilman Holden and members of the Committee on Veterans. My name is Dondi McKellar. I'm a 62-year-old United States Navy veteran, a Bronx homeowner, a lung cancer survivor, a member of the LGBTQIA+ community, and a New York City street vendor. These identifications are not just labels, but they represent the journey and the challenges I have faced. Today, I emphasize the importance of increasing veteran civic engagement in New York City and encourage my fellow veterans to take advantage of the opportunities the New York City Civic Engagement Commission offers. I have been dedicated to supporting veterans and ensuring their voices are heard throughout my career. I served as the chairman of the Veterans Committee for the Street Vendor Project from 2014 to 2018, and chaired the Standalone Veterans Committee for the Bronx Community Board 2 from 2016 to 2019. These roles helped me to understand veterans' unique challenges and how crucial civic involvement is to addressing them. In 2019, I joined the New York Civic Engagement Commission Participatory Budgeting Advisory Committee to advocate for veterans' engagement. Even after the committee ended in January 2024, I remain committed. As a coalition member for Kingsbridge Heights Community Center, I helped to secure 347 votes in May of 2024 for the People's Money Initiative, directing $3,405 to the James J. Peterson VA Medical Center Food Pantry to address veteran food insecurities. Please review the attachments. The People's Money Initiative is a citywide annual participatory budgeting process. All residents ages 11 and up, regardless of immigration status, can decide how to spend a portion of the city budget. The four-phase process includes idea generation, borough assembly, voting, and implementation. Veterans' participation is key in amplifying our voices and making meaningful community changes. Your participation matters. I urge this committee to recognize the New York City Civic Engagement Commission as a viable resource for veterans. We can empower veterans and drive positive change across New York City by fostering greater civic engagement. Thank you for your time, consideration, and most importantly, your dedication and well-being to our veterans. I sincerely appreciate your commitment to this cause.
And I want to thank you for your commitment. Certainly amazing work, all of you. I thank you very much. And as the Veterans Advisory Board, that's such an important group. And anything that we could do on the City Council, I'd love to hear from the VAB. for your work. And certainly, Don, you're amazing. You have a lot of different experiences, which is very valuable. So all of you, please feel free to contact my office and with suggestions. Certainly, you're on the front lines. And Erin, thanks so much. Thanks for your work. Thank you, panel. Very good panel. Next panel, Joe Bello, Melissa Del Val Ortiz, and Michael Mates. We're waiting for Joe, so go ahead, Melissa.
You can start.
Or who's ready? Doesn't matter. See, okay. All right. Michael, go ahead.
Morning, Chairman Holden, members of the committee. My name is Michael Matos, a born and raised New Yorker, a veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard, and dedicated advocate for the veteran community. I'm here today to discuss both the importance of civic engagement for veterans and the barriers we face in fully participating here in NYC. Veterans possess valuable skills and perspectives that can enhance civic life, but many face challenges when transitioning back to civilian life. While the military prepares us for service, it often falls short in helping us reintegrate into the communities that we come home to. This leaves many veterans feeling disconnected. Additionally, misconceptions about veterans being aligned solely with conservative views can create unnecessary distancing, particularly in a liberal city like New York. Veterans represent a wide range of political beliefs, and this diversity needs to be acknowledged, not misrepresented. Finally, the high cost of living in NYC, particularly the lack of truly affordable housing, forces many veterans to focus on survival. Programs like the NYC Housing Connect often have income qualifications starting in the 6 figures, which puts affordable housing out of reach for many. With these basic needs unmet, veterans have little time or energy for civic involvement. To address these challenges, we must begin supporting service members before they transition, offering them access to enhanced job placement and community engagement programs. This early support can ensure they're better prepared for civilian life. Second, we need to break down political stereotypes and create spaces where veterans of all backgrounds feel welcomed and valued. Public education campaigns could help highlight the true diversity within the veteran community. Lastly, NYC must expand access to genuinely affordable housing programs for veterans with realistic income qualifications. By providing stable housing, we give veterans the foundation to fully engage in civic life and contribute to the community. Thank you for your time. I look forward to working together to create a more inclusive, supportive environment for veterans in NYC where they can thrive and participate fully in civic life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Melissa?
Is this on? Hello? Is it on now? Okay, cool. All right. Thank you for receiving my testimony. Good morning, everyone. It was really great to be in the room today for a lot of different reasons. I'm seeing a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while. So I'm submitting this testimony as a 2-year active duty member to the United States Army. I'm submitting this testimony as it's 30 years overdue. I received an honorable discharge in 1997 after 7 years in the inactive reserve due to my pregnancy discharge. Prior to that, I birthed my children in 1990-91 and was later divorced by the age of 24 in 1994. Then a single mother of 2, I was left with no qualifying veteran or active duty preference or benefits, including a homeownership loan or higher education, affordable housing, etc., because of a pending honorable discharge. I was forced to get on public assistance and remain homeless for 2 years. I was, however, lucky enough to be housed by various family members. Due to my own perseverance, I secured project-based Section 8 housing in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, where my children and I remain housed today. I have worked and volunteered in my community of Sunset Park for 30 years in every level of civic participation, from my community board, starting my tenants association, my community action board with NISCA and Department of Youth and Community Development. Within the nonprofit sector, I've worked for various organizations. I've also volunteered, including being the first woman of color to serve as president to the League of Women Voters in the City of New York in its then 95-year history. Finally, I've secured employment with the Office of Congressmember Nydia Velasquez as a federal housing specialist and community liaison, all due to my years of community organizing and involvement, which now includes Sunset Park's first Veteran Military Family Appreciation Parade, which is going to happen on November the 9th, 2024. I'm testifying today to request that if the City of New York wants to proactively stimulate veteran and military household turnover within NYCHA housing stock as it enters into the project-based Section 8 model under the RAD-PAC agreement, it should take into consideration some of the following recommendations. Unlike NYCHA, project-based Section 8 housing stock receives no federal, state, or city-related supportive services. NYCHA tenants are, however, given access to job training programs, Section 3 employment, qualify for earned income disallowance, first-time homeownership programs, etc. And yes, these are all federally qualifying HUD guidelines, but the city has the capacity to engage in HUD Region 2, Therefore, I'm making the following recommendations. To engage with HUD to lift the barriers from residents of dedicated project-based Section 8 housing so that residents can benefit from the same access to self-sufficiency programs that RAD-PAC tenants have access to. To include military families as a category on every city government intake, including city council offices and New York City shelters. This will give them an informed family members of their eligibility to federal services they may not realize they qualify for. Create a prioritized category of military families within the homeless shelter system, as underage dependents of active duty service members should have access to housing subsidies. To ensure that NYCHA housing counselors inform tenants when a housing member joins the military that they do not need to be removed from the household, so that when the service member returns from service, they have access to affordable housing. 5, that categorize military income as disallowed income, so that the household is not burdened with the rent increase while the service member is deployed. In regards to self-sufficiency, why is an inactive service member any different than a reserve member? If counted as an eligible status, this will provide access to a college education, certificate, vocational training program, waivers to pay city exams, a preference status for gainful employment, license as a New York City street vendor. If I had any of this while I waited 7 years for my honorable discharge, I could have been all that I could be 7 years sooner. I could have had an apartment instead of sleeping on spare beds and sofas with my children. I could have already owned a home. I might have obtained a college degree and would have awarded me a higher paying job much sooner. I might have already had my own small business and by now my own corporation. As we all know, the military cultivates a go-getter mindset. Because of this non-eligible status, I hadn't embraced my veteran status until 2023, when I was recognized by Senator Gennardis as a New York State Veteran Hall of Fame inductee for my decades of community service. For this reason, I implore you to help hundreds, if not thousands, of military families and inactive military members awaiting their honorable discharge papers, direct and immediate access to benefits that they so desperately need, and in some cases, don't even know that they qualify for.
Thank you. Thanks so much for that testimony. Please let's talk in the future, because you have a wealth of knowledge, certainly. And I'm sorry what happened there. But again, that made you stronger, and the fact that you're helping other people now is, and you're a very example of the meaning of this hearing, actually. So, thank you for all your work, Joe Bell.
Okay. Chairman Holden, members of the Veterans Committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify at today's hearing on increasing veteran civic engagement. Military veterans and their families bring a unique perspective on how service fosters a sense of common purpose, and civic engagement is one of the impactful ways veterans continue to serve their communities after leaving the uniform. One reason veterans excel in civic life is because of the diverse environment we experience in the military. We are brought together with individuals from various backgrounds, races, and perspectives, and we're expected to work as a team. This experience fosters a strong sense of purpose, camaraderie, and belonging. Veterans share a lot of the same concerns on issues that many New York City residents do, but we are keenly aware that change requires civic engagement. As a result, research shows that veterans are more likely to vote, volunteer, join civic organizations, or donate to charity. We have to acknowledge that here in New York City, we have an aging veterans population, with 72% of our roughly 138,000 veterans over the age of 55. Therefore, it is likely that many of our aging veterans have at some point either served or are currently serving on community boards, health and hospital, community advisory boards, or CABs, or even police precinct councils. Unfortunately, these numbers will likely decrease as they age. For younger veterans, civic engagement varies. Some veterans are engaged in their schools, as we've heard, or in internships, working with VSOs, or participating in civic activities outside of veterans-specific organizations, such as volunteering or serving on their child's PTA. Additionally, some young and older veterans find themselves dealing with challenges that may hinder them from participating in civic engagement. For others, civic engagement may be as simple as what Mr. McKellar testified, voting in New York City's participatory budgeting initiative, or even their local council members' PB, where community members help decide how funds are spent. With regards to the community boards, before his untimely passing, Paul Vallone was meeting with the borough boards to encourage community boards to get more veterans to serve on them. Unfortunately, he had noted to me that DVS did not maintain, and the commissioner acknowledged that, on how many veterans actively join community boards. They were simply promoting the opportunity. Therefore, any discussion on increasing civic participation first requires having some data around how many vets are currently engaged in civic activity in New York City. According to its webpage, DVS connects veterans to programs and resources that promote social enrichment, including volunteer opportunities. The site highlights the three main areas of social engagement that the commissioner talked about: Mission Vet Check, the Veterans Voices, and packing Hello Ready fresh meal kits. Unfortunately, while there are various issues regarding each of these programs, to access them, you must complete the agency's Vet Connect page request, which has a response time of 3 to 5 business days, according to its website. Aside from these programs, DVS has fallen short in creating additional civic engagement opportunities. For example, as the commissioner stated, 2 years ago, the agency was in the process of taking over the Joseph P. Dwyer mental health peer-to-peer program from the health department. Commissioner Hendon stated at a Veterans Advisory Board meeting that a committee, which included VAB members, would be formed to review grant and RFP submissions for this funding. Unfortunately, this committee never materialized while funding has been provided. Additionally, with regards to the new post-9/11 Veterans Memorial in Whitestone, DVS's webpage states that the formation of a Memorial Advisory Committee intended to represent diverse facets of New York City's Veterans Committee. It also includes a proposed timeline. Unfortunately, DVS appointed members to this committee without involving, informing, or transparency to anyone, including the VAB or the community. To date, there has still been no information from Commander Hendon regarding the committee's members, even though we know at least 2 of them live outside of New York. The lack of transparency and missed opportunities on both these programs reflects poorly on the agency's efforts to enhance civic engagement within the local veterans community. Finally, with regards to the VAB, as someone who not only helped draft several pieces of legislation and worked on the annual report and also served on the board, I believe I have some insights into this issue. I would ask that this committee hold a separate oversight hearing for the Veterans Advisory Board, as one has not been conducted since February of 2017. There are several concerns regarding the current state of the Veterans Advisory Board, including the process for appointing members, the way meeting notices are put out to the community, and the lag of documented minutes or videos. While I deeply respect my former VAB colleagues and the institutional knowledge they bring, I would also like to propose to this body legislation to limit the number of terms an individual can serve to a maximum of 2 terms, which is 6 years. This change would open opportunity for other veterans who wish to become more civically engaged with the community. We are currently in a time when trust in veterans is high, but negative perceptions also persist due to issues like veteran suicide, homelessness, and the media portrayal of veterans as either extremists or damaged. Both these narratives cannot be true, but they highlight the need for more data and a balanced understanding of veterans and how and what we contribute to the society. To everyone attending today's hearing, in person or online, thank you for sharing your thoughts, your insights, and concerns about what's happening with our community. Your participation here in civic engagement at its best and helps shape the future of our community. Thank you, council members, for your time.
Thank you, Joe. Just a question on the serving on the VAB, 6 years. How did you arrive at 6 years?
Well, I mean, so I served for 7. And to be honest with you, the last year, I had already been telling the former chair at that time that I served 1 year too many. If we go by the terms or three-year terms, then 2 terms is 6 years.
Yeah, the only thing, it's a volunteer position. That's why I tend to shy away from term limits for volunteers. It's actually sometimes counterproductive because you're telling people, thank you for your service, goodbye.
Now, I think if I may, though, there are, when I go around to the community, there are a lot of people who are interested in the Veterans Advisory Board and would like to serve on the Veterans Advisory and have questions about how the individuals get appointed to the advisory board.
Again, I appreciate that. That's why we should evaluate if people are showing up on the VAB, if they're participating, so somebody has to evaluate it.
Well, the other thing I would recommend then too is, currently the law requires the VAB to meet once in all 5 boroughs. I can tell you from my time, that's clearly not working, and I think you've seen that as well when you've come online. So this is why I'm asking for perhaps, to have an oversight hearing on the VAB.
That's a good suggestion.
To have that discussion about how we can make the VAB better.
Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you, panel. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
My next panel is Michael Abramowitz, Susan Wallace, and Frederick Hart. Michael, you want to start?
Sure thing. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, council member. Thank you, panel. I would just, my name is Michael Abramovich. I was raised here in New York City. I was a first-generation immigrant from the former Soviet Union, now Russia. I grew up in New York City my whole life. My parents were homeowners. They bought a house on Staten Island. They were very proud of the day they managed it. I went to high school, and when 9/11 happened, and being an ROTC cadet, I was more than motivated to join. Fast forward to 2012, I finished 8 years of service, having served in the Army National Guard and Reserves for the state of New York, and having deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. I started working in New York City civil service and working as a New York City civil servant. So I would like to discuss why I feel veterans are invisible when it comes to working in civil service or being recruited to civil service positions. First off, in my time as a student veteran, as a veteran advocate, I cannot recall a time I've seen any New York City agencies actively recruiting veterans for positions. The second thing is, once veterans get into the civil service system, whether applying for a job that they get or encouraged by friends and family to apply for various positions and find themselves as civil service employees, we are practically never engaged as veterans. I can recall maybe one time in 11 years where I had a little bit of say of how dealing with veteran suicide and how to approach veterans. But what my experience is, while there's all this awesome training to prevent sexual harassment, to prevent discrimination and mistreatment of various minorities, including the LGBTQ community, there's really zero to little provided on addressing veterans and how to properly show us respect, or what is okay to talk to us about and what is not okay. A lot of times I've spoke to veterans who in their workplace, private and public, often are disregarded. People will say insensitive things without realizing how insensitive they are, especially in the days of media showing, TVs, movies, video games, displaying brutal war scenes that clearly has desensitized the general public. A lot of times those conversations that we hear or these innocent questions are asked are often offensive, and because we are taught to shut up and suck it up and drive on, we often never make our complaints known, hence our silence. Often we are isolated. We don't have other veterans to connect to. We don't have veterans mentoring other veterans mentoring us. Also, our direct line leadership. Some of us have awesome supervisors. I have an amazing first line supervisor. She's always helpful. She understands my concerns with my health, with my advocacy, and everything I'm involved with, and has always been respectful of that. Other veterans I know have gotten quite the opposite, very much disrespected, alienated, and they felt that there was really not much they can do. The other thing I want to bring up is that New York City, I feel the New York City Department of Veteran Services has yet to engage the veterans who are working as civil servants, regardless of what position. I feel that there needs to be a stronger sense of community of those who are looking to work in New York City government and those who already are. In addition to better mentoring veterans who are already in civil service so they can maximize what their skills and their abilities and just aren't stuck sitting in some entry-level position for 20 years because they don't want to bitch and complain, pardon my, and just doing the job the best they can with just thumbs up from their bosses.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Susan?
The last four speakers, the prior panel and my brother here, have expressed many of the things that I have been thinking and wanting to say. I'm almost overwhelmed that I did not perceive this alone, or that I'm not misperceiving this. I have not been treated well as a veteran in New York City at all. I have tried to get involved with civic organizations. I have an excellent resume and background. It's kind of amazing, actually. I couldn't even get my bar license in New York. I have an active license in another state. I have been a member of the bar for 34 years. I'm an employment and civil rights lawyer. I've worked for the federal government. I was a reservist for 25 years. I'm a retired JAG officer. I was asked in the interview for my bar license, to get my license basically transferred here, right? What I did with my children when I was at drill at that time, how I dared to put my children through that. How did I put my children through having to worry that mom was going to die? Unbelievable inappropriate questions. No one has ever addressed it. I can't find anybody to address it. I volunteered for my local Democratic club. I asked to start a military chapter, a military committee. I was grilled and put through. They just wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't do it. They had to have me, I had to justify it. They wanted to know why this would be important. I'm in Bay Ridge. I live walking distance from Fort Hamilton. I said, I think that there are a number of veterans around here. There are lots of service members living here. There are families live here. They absolutely shut me down and wouldn't do it. I've tried volunteering with a couple of different organizations. I'm too old, I'm female. Talk about invisible veterans. Okay, I'm an invisible veteran, and there are many other women like me that I know. All the women I serve with are isolated, alone, and feel completely rejected, like we wasted our lives. It is heartbreaking, more than I can possibly express to you in a public forum. As far as one of the things that I heard today about getting veterans involved is we're still stuck on dividing between reserve and active duty. I heard earlier, you know, we're talking about doing the catchment and trying to get people, you know, as they're coming out. DD-214. Reservists don't have DD-214s unless they served an active duty. I served 25 years. I don't have a DD-214. I never missed a drill. I served in 2 different state guards half the time, and the other half was in the Federal Reserve, the USAR. So I've been all around the reserve component. Never missed a drill in 25 years. And I don't have a DD-214 because I was never active duty. My son, who is 100% disabled, almost died in basic training, has a DD-214 because he went active duty for basic training more than 30 days. If you don't serve more than 30 days continuously, you don't get a DD-214. You get another type of document. Equally valid, you are still a veteran. I can't get veteran on my license because I don't have a DD-214. I've been trying, I know I've done through your office and I've done through, you know, through a couple other representatives' offices trying to get that corrected. The definitions of veteran in the state law are incorrect. They don't even comport with the federal. This has evolved over years. The definition of veteran in the Vietnam era was very different than it is now. Okay, the federal government has opened this up and become more inclusive because our reserve went from basically almost no reserve to 85% roughly of the Army in the last 20 years. These wars were fought by reservists. Reservists died, mostly reservists. So, you know, this should be fixed. New York should not be stuck on this. And I'm willing to help with this. I am a lawyer. I can help you with the language. I am in contact with Gary Port, who is the reserve ambassador, is interested in this as well. I've served with him. I'm very good friends with him. So I'm willing to help with
Well,
this.
yeah, it's very, very important. I wasn't even aware of this, but thank you so much. We'll talk some more after this, and we'll try to come up with some solutions. And I'm sure we'll work with the commissioner to try to address this. This is not right. You're exactly right. So thanks again, Susan. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Happy to help.
Fred? Yeah.
My name is Frederick Hart. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm going to make it fast. This is my first time at a meeting. I'm here because they issued me a blue license like 2 years ago. I haven't used it until like maybe 3 weeks ago. I decided to go to where my license tell me I can go, which is Midtown. So I'm in Midtown. I'm working, and my first day on the job, it was unbelievable. I mean, 5 cops surrounded me. And I'm trying to figure out what's the problem. They say, let me see your license. I gave them a license. They all talked amongst each other. And within 5 minutes, they gave me a ticket. And I'm like, it's my first day on the job. Couldn't you give me a warning? Can't you at least let me know what I'm doing wrong? She just gave me a ticket. So after that, I'm trying to figure out, am I going to get a ticket every day? I haven't worked in years. I just started 3 weeks ago for the first time. What is the ticket about? I'm looking at all the things happening around me. It's unbelievable with the crime that's in Times Square, right? And I'm asking them, you're going to come at me, a disabled veteran, give me a ticket with all the stuff happening around me. It hurt me so bad, right, to the point where I don't even know how to get out there, right? When I do see the cops, I hide my license because I know if they see me, they're going to come at me. Why? Why are you ticketing me? You're making it hard for me to support myself, my mother, my family. So where I'm going to go? I see people selling things everywhere illegally. Why would you come at me and give me a ticket? I'm heartbroken. Now I'm afraid to get out there because I'm thinking they're going to come and ticket me. Our job is not only to protect this country, but I feel like I'm still there. If I see something injustice, right? My first reaction
this is the same thing we're
is
hearing.
to protect,
yeah.
right?
Again,
And the tourists come at me, they ask me questions. I'm just hiding in the corner because I feel the cops going to
Take that ticket and throw it in the garbage. Tear it up in a million pieces and throw it in the damn garbage. You know what? Get it fixed. No way do you get a ticket, ever.
I want to go back to work, right? I talk to the veterans in the area, and they tell me, oh, it happens. But it never happened to me. I'm a good guy. All I want to do is make a few dollars and go home. Why?
Yeah,
Why do the cops
I
ticket
can't
us?
explain it. Let's talk again some more on this, but
Yes.
this is very, very puzzling. The last
Yes.
people that should be ticketed are our veterans.
For what?
Yeah, so,
What did I do?
right. Thank you
That's
so,
it.
thank you for,
I'm just so ashamed.
thank you so much.
Don't you be ashamed of
Can I
anything.
just raise one thing? You guys want to see more veterans running for city council? Well, the solution for that is Final Five voting, where more independent veterans feel that they have a fair chance to run without being sidelined by the two major parties.
I agree with that.
100%.
100%. I agree with that.
100%
Thank you so
agreed.
much. Thank you, panel. Very good. Shh, keep it down, please. Next panel, Luis Melendez, Tim Pena, Mount Lacey. Louis, you want to start?
No, just say.
Okay. All right. Tim?
I'll start. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim Pena.
Pull the mic a little closer, yeah.
I run an organization called
All right.
Veterans Justice Project, and an organization here in New York City called The Forgotten Veteran. I get it. I spent 5 months in a shelter here in New York City when I first came in under the VA Grant Per Diem Transitional Program, which is a congressional program for VA-eligible veterans to receive access to resources, supportive housing, transitional services, employment opportunities. One of those, of course, is registering to vote, getting our documents and our identifications. One of the first things that I did when I got to New York City was I registered to vote. And one of the reasons why I came to New York City, one of the things that had a part in that was the voting laws. Currently, there are over 600,000 veterans who cannot vote in this country. Felonies. In my home state of Arizona, if you have more than 2 lifetime felonies, you have to go back to the sentencing court and plead your case why they should allow you to vote again. For veterans, it's even more difficult because we heard and we hear just because you're a veteran is not an excuse for a free ride. It's not a free get out of free jail card. So not being able to vote, most likely ever again in Arizona, and as a veteran, was one of the reasons why I ended up here in New York City, and the first thing I did was I registered, and I've been voting since. So, but it's very important because as we are talking about here today, as far as like veterans and civic engagement, the main thing that we are here, and I can speak as a homeless veteran, is getting ourselves into the community as quickly as possible. And that is being able to be afforded those resources and supportive services from the shelters when we come into them. Because once we leave that system, it's very difficult to try to get access, try to get back. Once you leave the transitional program, it's very difficult to get back into the system. I mean, if I might, just 2 things on what we've been talking about. One of the things that I realized when I noticed when I came in was there are a wonderful park system and a wonderful recreational program here in New York City. It's $25 a year for veterans. Fantastic. I would propose that the City Council look into waiving those fees for veterans who are coming into the shelter system and letting them have quick immediate access from the shelters into the rec centers. And also another thing, which has been brought up today, currently MTA and neither MTA nor Fairs Fair acknowledge VA for disability. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm 70%. We submitted the paperwork to MTA for reduced fares, and it's been rejected because I was told I can't be collecting SSDI and VA disability at the same time. So if I'm collecting VA disability, I can't apply for SSDI, and that's all that they'll accept with the MTA. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tim. Mount, yeah.
My name is Mount Lacey, and I identify as a 70% service-connected, disabled, homeless veteran. I'm here to explain why my civic engagement has been hindered by the New York City Department of Homeless Services through their grant and per diem program. The grant and per diem program is a congressional program that is guaranteed to qualified veterans to provide a secure, safe, and drug-free environment, free of retaliation, discrimination, and retribution. As I lived at Borden Avenue, I found that the city has overrun all of the GPD program guidelines with DHS policy. They treat us as any other homeless person in New York City. They laugh at the grant and per diem guidelines as if they don't have to follow them. They mock us when we try and show them the policy. They say it's just another shelter. It's not. It's a residency program, and that title's on the building. Borden Avenue Veterans Residency Program. Now, some of my testimony is I was attacked in the bathroom by what I believe was not two veterans. There are non-veterans at Borden Avenue. I was hit in the back of my head multiple times. I tried to leave the situation and run out of the bathroom. The door opens this way, I could not. I had to turn around and defend myself. I got someone in a chokehold and put them to sleep. I let them go. They bumped their head and started bleeding. Because they had two of them, I got arrested. Borden Avenue refused to give the security footage to the police, and the foundational statement that got me arrested was that I followed them into the bathroom. It was 3:30 in the morning, I had no shirt on and only socks. Those two men followed me into the bathroom and proceeded to try to beat me to death. I got charged with 2 serious felonies that I was facing over 10 years in Rikers Island for. The DA did not have any evidence. The public defender would not do anything that I asked him to do. In fact, he said, I'm a former DA. I know they're not going to do anything. I said, sir, I'm not going off of your experience and your hope that they won't do nothing. I want to build a case on facts and evidence. He recused himself from my case. I got another one who did nothing. Every level of government has failed me in New York City, from the police to the public defender, the DA, the judge. They let me sit on the street for 6 months and only gave me the choice of the street or one of the most dangerous shelters in the DHS system, where a DHS police station has to be stationed, 6500 Jerome Avenue. I chose the streets of Long Island City because they're safer, even in the winter. I am still not being allowed to go back to the grant and per diem program. The DHS commissioner won't even give Commissioner Hendon a solid answer. Every answer that I have received from Karen Fuller, who is the oversight of the VA program, Every reason has been given, like multiple reasons have been given. Every time I defeat that reason, they come up with a new one. Now they're trying to get me to fill out reasonable accommodations that Borden already provides for. I don't need reasonable accommodations to go back to Borden. That place is built for me, and I want to be with my people. And I want, one of the first things you look at on the signage is that you are able to practice your civil rights. What they do to protect themselves from their violations of us is they tell us we're not allowed to record. Being a citizen journalist is a constitutionally protected activity, especially within your residence. That policy is our HIPAA rights. They're taking our HIPAA rights from us to protect their misconduct.
All right, we gotta wrap up. Let's go to the,
I got those videos and they'll be posted on the internet, and
I'd like to hear- I'd like to
so
talk-
will the transcript
all right.
that I'm going to put on the website, and I encourage everybody to go look at that.
When were you last at Borden? Because I wanna find out if there's non-vets
October 13th.
of last year.
Yes, there's many
Okay.
non-vets and
All right.
non-VA qualified veterans.
All right, we're gonna look into that. Thank you so much for your testimony. Lewis?
Hi, my name is Lewis. Could you hear me?
Yeah, we just get a little closer.
My name is Lewis. Like, could you hear me from here? And being in the homeless system, it's like, even if I try to speak or say anything, it's just like, no, you can't speak. You have to hold your tongue. You have to like not talk when there's like a law for like freedom of speech. No.
He's helping me. He's gonna be. Working with doing outreach as long as now as I've done here in New York City. One of the issues, because I was homeless. One of the social civic engagements is, I'm on the Veterans Task Force. I was with the persons with living experience, continuum of care. I'm on the street every day. I deal with veterans every day at Borden Avenue and other shelters. I've been working with Mr. Lacey here for a while. Lewis here is one of those people in the community that
Lewis
look
is
up to us.
Lewis is not at Borden.
He is very important. No, he's not at Borden. He's not a veteran.
I'm saying important. In Borden, he's not at Borden.
Not at Borden, no.
Okay.
Mr. Lacey's supposed to be in a veterans program.
But I'm talking about
but
Lewis.
He's not. Lewis
And
knows my
he's
whole
been-
story and is helping me directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So that's that community engagement. Even in the shelters, there's still community engagements. There are people that look up to us as veterans. But when we come into city agencies and city organizations, it's a different story.
But Tim, you nodded your head when Mount said that there are non-veterans at Borden. You said, yeah, you were kind of doing that.
Yeah,
did you experience
we've been saying that for 2 years.
And you ran into non-veterans at Borden.
I was threatened and extorted by non-veterans.
Okay, then we're going to look into it. Thank you so much. Thank you, panel. Thank you so much. Next panel, Walter Wells and Armando Crescenzi. I'm just doing it in the order they gave me. So. Walter, you want to start? You want? All right, whatever.
All right. My name is Walter Wells. I'm a disabled Vietnam vet. I just wanted to address a couple of people that's here, the commissioner here, and my community is Times Square. All right, guys know me that don't even be in Times Square. They know me from Brooklyn, Queens. You know, you see. If you ever need somebody looking to get on the board, you could come see me. And I'm just hoping that you would never pick nobody that hasn't been through the trenches that we've been through. We've been out there like we're second-class citizens as disabled vets. I've been out in Times Square a long time. I get along with the people in the stores, the community. I'm involved with a lot of stuff, and I love there because I've been there a long time. But as a disabled vet in Times Square, we are pushed off the corners. Why? Because we have the what they call the Egyptian mafia, you know, with all the food trucks, all the rules and regulations that we have to go through. They disregard them like they run in the city now. Yes, we get tickets. The lady said, "Don't pay the ticket. Pay that ticket because they ain't gonna give you a license." You know, no, we can't renew. They get depends. Could be up to $1,000. I had to pay a ticket for $250 because I had the American flag too high. Yes, yeah. I've been through it. I mean, we go through a lot of stuff there in Times Square. You know, we still getting tickets. We're supposed to be within 10 feet of the crosswalk, but the police would come over, especially the new ones. Oh, you're 15 feet, and you know you can't be 15 feet. Excuse me, wrong. The commissioner, the board commander at a meeting, he had a welcome meeting and told all his subordinates, because he introduced me. He said, "You see this man here? This man know more about the rules and regulations than all you guys put together." You understand? McCarthy is a very good guy. He tried to help the veterans out, but it's very bad for us right now. We lost a lot of veterans in Times Square. They either left because of the treatment that we're getting. They left and pushed out because we can't work the corners no more. We can't even get a food cart to work in the area because, like I said, the commission that they got, you know. But I'm just hoping that we can get somebody to help us. We need some help. We need a lot of help in Times Square. Thank you for listening to me.
Armando? Yeah.
Good morning to all. Thank you, Chairman, committee members, and all the veteran advocates present here today. My name is Armando Crescenzi. I'm a life member of Disabled American Vets, a life member of the Military Officers of America Association, and a life member of the American Legion, where I'm the commander of my post. I have a degree in political science. 30 years ago, I got my doctorate in law, and today I'm specializing in civil rights, with the focus on the 5th and 14th Amendment. In 2010, with my fellow veterans, I founded a nonprofit organization called Put Veterans First. Our mission is to help New York City veterans start and build their own small business as vendors and food cart operators, all by accessing their state-granted rights. These are rights. It's not a charity. It's not a privilege. These are rights written into the law for service-disabled vets to operate free from city placement restrictions in the city of New York. Over the years, I've seen hundreds of veterans get driven out of street vending by the city and the NYPD. We heard from Walter, and we also heard from Fred Hart earlier, and sadly, there's a new cadre of enforcement personnel out there who just completely unaware of the law. Sadly, the mayor's office and the city council stood by and did nothing to help New York City veterans pursue their American dream. Recently, the city granted full immunity to asylum seekers who commit quality of life crimes, stating that criminal charges would reflect poorly on their asylum application. No matter what your opinion of the immigration fiasco, the fact is that the city's sidewalks are overrun with illegal, unlicensed vendors. Most service-disabled vets cannot compete in such a lawless environment. It seems that the police have been totally defunded, except when it comes to service-disabled vets. Then there's plenty of enforcement. Because of rising crime and the city dysfunction, vending is no longer an attractive option for veterans. So how can New York City meet its legal obligation to accommodate disabled vets? Codified in state and federal law, the city is mandated to provide reasonable accommodations to its disabled veterans who operate as street vendors. Years ago, all the newsstands were run by veterans. Today, with the proliferation of digital media, newsstands have become obsolete and are shutting down everywhere. The MTA has dozens of these so-called ghost newsstands, and throughout the city, there are more than 600 newsstands that are vacant. Coincidentally, there are 600 disabled veterans licensed and registered with the city as vendors of merchandise and food. I propose that the city grant each eligible veteran a newsstand where they can run their own business. In exchange, the veteran would make his newsstand a hub of community affairs and social services. I call this Veterans Take a Stand for Civic Engagement. The initiative will ensure that the city honors its obligation to disabled veterans who would run the newsstands as their own retail business. The veteran would serve as a community liaison, promoting civic awareness and participation. Each newsstand will be a place where local residents can connect with and plug into community activities and events. Reliable internet, digital kiosks, and tablets would be a must, available for anyone in need of social services or a referral. Security cameras, first aid kits, Narcan, and defibrillators would also be present at these locations. Being embedded in communities throughout the city, the newsstands are ideally suited to meet the needs of the booming delivery business. They can be drop-off and pick-up points for packages, charging stations for e-bikes, and relief stands for the delivery drivers. Maybe Amazon or FedEx would like to access this network of 600 convenient locations, owned and operated by a veteran who has civic engagement as part of his business model. The opportunities are limitless. In closing, I say, don't wait for Veterans Day to thank a veteran. Help veterans take a stand in your neighborhood, and you can thank a vet every day all year long. Thank you.
Thank you, Armando, for your very good testimony. Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, this is our last in-person panel. Rabka Belkabir and Alsdel Jamila. Rabar, you go first.
Yes. Starting or? No, I'm not giving no comment.
Thank you. Rabka, yeah.
All right, thank you. Hi, hello there, how are you? All right, my name is Rabba Belkibir. I'm a service-connected disabled veteran, and I'm blue license too. I just want to answer the brother there with the blue license. In Times Square especially, the city and NYPD, they are issuing summonses only for disabled veterans. I give you an example, me. I'm the only one, me and Armando, Mr. Wolsey sells merchandise, but as a food vendors, we are the only legal vendors in Times Square, but we are the only one who gets ticket. A couple of months ago, the city issued 18 tickets. They give me 16 because, you know, that's the problem. They don't give them about disabled veterans. We are the only ones. So that's the problem. I have here New York State court order They ignore that, just like that. I told them, they come to me, they says, you can, how many legal vendors there? This is no, you the only one who must go. I says, why? What's going on here? I'm a disabled vet. Everything legal, but okay. But I have something to say about the new stands. Me and Armando and everybody we did talk about. So I'm going to read your letter. I hope you will understand with my accent. We are a group of disabled veterans from New York City reaching out to you regarding the current state of the largely abandoned New York City newsstands. Today, the community of street vendors in New York City include more than 1,600 veterans who makes their living on the street, braving all matters on weather condition, whatever it's cold or hot, whatever, in the summer or the winter, in the freezing cold, all right, during the rain and everything. For many of us disabled veterans, these businesses are among the few that accommodate our need to attend frequent VA hospital appointment. Of course, we have to make all appointments. If you get a regular job, we can't do it. So it is difficult enough for most able-bodied individuals to do. Of your body and mine, we believe there is an opportunity that will cost the city any financial resources and would, in fact, add revenue to its coffers through an increased tax base. As veterans who have made significant sacrifice to our country, we ask that our service and needs be acknowledged and respected, and rewarded by licensing to implementing what we are about to propose. Our preliminary research showed that only about 300 newsstands, so there is only 300 newsstands. It used to be like 1,300, but only 100, they close them with the new technologies. Newsstands are still operating in the city, most of which are in Manhattan, plus of course Bronx, Brooklyn. It says, I'm sorry, in 1950, there was like 1,325 newsstands. With the city location, okay, but today it's only 300. So whatever, if we can get those, of course, we're going to pay and everything, and we are willing to work with the DVS. And I think the disabled veteran, we deserve this chance, because if we don't do it, probably the city will give it to someone else. God knows who's going to sell inside. So I think they already started selling cigarettes or whatever they're selling. So if we can turn them into coffee kiosk, so we will be the eyes of the city, plus it's going to be a little help center for veterans.
All right. It's a
Thank you very much.
Very good idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Abdel Jamila, U.S. Army retired and a combat vet with a distinguishing device valor. As a service-connected disabled veteran who operates as a street vendor, I have chosen to participate in today's meeting to address issues that have long been overlooked or neglected by city agencies and its lack of sufficient vendor enforcement policies. Police and agents acknowledgeable in the law concerning Article 35. Today presents a rare and unique opportunity for us to voice our concern and assert our rights. Our primary focus is on the well-being of veterans of the city of New York, particularly mental health and other challenges we face. We believe that proactive measures can help prevent the alarming rates of suicide among veterans and disabled veterans in particular. And we are a group that has selflessly served and sacrificed our bodies and mind for the country that we all love. Unfortunately, in New York State alone, a disheartening 1/3 of the homeless population consists of veterans. Many of these veterans could make a living and become more productive citizens if the city made it easier for these veterans to work the streets without being in constant fear. Many of us have PTSD and cannot tolerate confrontation and intimidation by other types of vendors, police, and other enforcement agencies. Some of us cannot respond in socially acceptable ways, so we avoid working in contested areas to avoid troubles. As a war veteran street vendor, Our work on the streets of New York is driven by necessity rather than choice. We find ourselves in this line of work as it is often the only means to support our families. In previous hearing at the City Hall, we as a group of disabled veterans emphasized the difficulty of securing traditional employment due to frequent hospital visits to address injuries sustained during a military service. I just feel like the city of New York is, I just feel like we are under assault by the city of New York and the city council, some of the city council members, by being discredited and discrediting us for, as a veterans. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. And our final panel is going to be on Zoom. Brendan Gibbons. Brendan? Okay. We don't see Brendan on there, so Charlotte Martin.
You may begin.
Hello. Sorry, just a sec. Okay. Hello, my name is Charlotte Martin. Thank you for holding today's hearing on veteran civic engagement. I'm the Director of Access Initiatives at the Intrepid Museum, and in this capacity, I have the privilege of overseeing the museum's Veterans Access Initiative that includes a range of programs and resources for current and former service members and their families. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the generous support of the City Council. Our programs would not be possible without this support. So thank you to Chair Holden and the committee members and staff for your efforts to connect veterans with one another and cultural resources like the Intrepid Museum. Cultural organizations like the Intrepid Museum have a tremendous role to play in connecting veterans with one another and other resources. Because of the Intrepid Museum's non-traditional ship-like meeting spaces, our organization may present a more comfortable environment for veterans who have not previously felt welcome at or drawn to traditional veteran organizations. Through supportive but not overly therapeutic programming, we can create entry points for veterans to try something new and engage in community. Veterans come together through a shared interest and end up exchanging resources and opportunities for further engagement. We have also observed this with veteran and military families who may feel isolated from one another or from the city. The Intrepid Museum's programs are designed to be inclusive and engaging for all veterans, including those with service-related disabilities. Outreach and programming has also increasingly focused on veterans historically excluded from other veteran spaces, particularly women, veterans of color, and LGBTQ veterans. We acknowledge and address the challenges faced by veterans and their loved ones while honoring their strength and contributions. In order to foster this positive experience, appropriate staff and volunteer training and planning is crucial. Since starting our Veterans Initiative almost 10 years ago, the Intrepid Museum has welcomed veterans from all branches, service eras, and backgrounds through both free, veteran-only, and inclusive programs. At our cornerstone veterans-only program, Intrepid After Hours, veterans explore the museum, get a behind-the-scenes experience or workshop, and then connect over a catered dinner. Earlier this year, we started coordinating with the Department of Veteran Services to ensure that there's always a veteran DVS representative at programs available to answer questions and share resources. We have received very positive feedback. We have also heard from veterans how meaningful it has been to learn about resources and opportunities from other veterans. Several have even gone on to become volunteers at the Intrepid Museum, part of other organizations, reducing isolation and giving back to their community. At the museum, we also make a point to ensure that veterans are specifically invited to public programs, whether focused on veteran issues or more general, in an effort to reduce isolation and bridge veteran and civilian divides. Collaborations have been crucial, such as our ongoing partnership with Exit 12 Dance Company to host therapeutic workshops for veterans and family members, culminating in a public performance on the flight deck, and our recent program with the Met Opera focused on women in the military. We recognize the power and value of the arts, history, culture, and service to bring veterans together and connect them with their communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte, for your great work, and it's a wonderful museum, and keep up the great work. Thanks so much for your testimony. Next is Dr. Frank Bork. Welcome back.
You may begin.
Thank you for the invitation, Commissioner Holden, and very much so for the $35,000 award to the Research and Recognition Project to train counselors in the New York City area. I'd like to use this forum to ask the committee and Commissioner Hendon, et cetera, all of the people associated with the Veterans Committee who know of clinical directors and clinical leaders in mental health across the city. We would like to use the money that has been awarded to be scholarships for clinicians in the New York City area in order to introduce them first person to the effectiveness of the RTM protocol. For those of you not up on this conversation, we have a protocol that we've taken through the research and validation process scientifically to approval as evidentiary medicine. That's called the reconsolidation of traumatic memories. That allows or enables us to train therapists in a 3-day program with follow-up treatment to administer the protocol successfully. The protocol in its research is eliminating PTSD and all its symptoms over 90% of the time. That's first 5 studies. It really works. And what we want to do is get this known and in better circulation in the New York City area, running this initial training for New York City counselors as a pilot and an introduction to the protocol to leaders in the clinical services in New York City area.
Thank you, Doctor. Doctor, I have a question. How many counselors are already trained in RTM? Do you have a number?
325.
I'm
They're
sorry,
they're accessible on our website, Commissioner Holden.
Thank you. That is a good number, and we wanted to actually allocate more money, but it's a first step. It's a baby step, but we appreciate you and all your work on pioneering work for RTM. It does work. I can attest to that, and I thank you for your work and your continuing advocacy for RTM. Thanks, Doctor.
In simple terms, Commissioner, what we're hoping is that when it's seen by experienced clinical directors in programs in the city, its efficacy will jump another notch up, and we can train. We should be training 50, 100 counselors in a pilot to get this thing going and known. It really works, and it's really needed at a grassroots level.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Our final panelist is Dr. J. David Stifler.
You may begin.
Good afternoon, Chair Holden and members of the New York City Council Committee on Veterans. I'm Dr. David Stifler, the Medical Director of the Military Family Center at NYU Langone Health. The Military Family Center at NYU Langone Health was established in 2012 with the goal to fill in the gaps in mental health services available to veterans and their family members in the New York City area. The center's mission is to address the mental health challenges of this population by providing accessible, high-quality, evidence-based treatment to veterans and their family members. Since inception, our Military Family Center has provided mental health treatment to over 4,000 veterans and their family members. To summarize our program, we provide comprehensive evaluations and personalized evidence-based treatment for a number of mental health problems, including post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, ADHD, insomnia, and substance use disorders. For couples or families experiencing relationship difficulties, we offer either couples or family therapy. We are also able to offer individual psychotherapy for children and adolescents. We provide services completely free of charge and offer our services to veterans regardless of their discharge status, combat exposure, or era served. Our services are available to family members of veterans, even if the veteran is not involved in the treatment. To maximize engagement and access care, we offer appointments during the evening outside of normal business hours, both in person or by video through a virtual health platform. It's common for veterans who struggle with depression to have difficulty with engagement in civilian life after service. Young veterans often face challenges with the transition from their military service into the next steps in their lives as civilian adults. After service, some veterans struggle with finding meaning in their lives or activities to engage in that leave them feeling fulfilled or like they have made a valuable contribution. It has been reported that civic engagement contributes to growth and maturation as young people transition into adulthood, and that volunteer engagement reduces depressed feelings in service members. More specifically, for veterans in school, research has shown that civic engagement may promote higher utilization of mental health service on campus. Research has shown that veteran civic engagement is important to the transition to civilian life. The Military Family Center at NYU is proud to be a link for veterans to engage with their community, and we thank the council for holding this important hearing.
Thank you, Doctor. And on the family centers, do you have a waiting list, or are you able to see everyone that requests it?
We see everyone. Ideally, we see everyone within a week of their initial phone call. Of course, during at times when demand surges, we do our best, but our goal is to have everybody seen within 5 business days.
Well, again, Doctor, thank you for all the great work you do. So I so appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Brendan, our next panelist is Brendan Gibbons.
You may begin.
Brendan? Brendan, are you there? I think he might be having technical difficulties. Last call for Charlie Cassiano and Maria Macaluso. Brendan, are you back? Are you showing up again?
You may begin.
Yeah, you might be having, might be the bandwidth. Brendan, are you still with us? Last call? Okay, sorry, Brendan. Sorry. He's showing up and then he disappears on the list here. All right, I want to thank everyone, all the panelists and commissioner. Thanks for staying again. He's probably the only commissioner that stays for an entire hearing, and that's, we got to commend him for. I did. Charlie Cassiano, Maria Macaluso, and Brendan Gibbons, all right? I know. Okay, but thank you everyone for the testimony. It was magnificent. It was a great hearing. And again, I want to thank, we did learn a lot. Okay, my colleague wants to say something, Vicky Palladino.
I want to thank everybody for coming here today. What we covered here is not a problem that's going to be easily solved. Every single one of you came here today crying out for help. You're crying out for help to be able to make a living. A legal living. And the fact that you are being attacked, persecuted, because you are a veteran, and we heard you all here today proclaim that some people said, what do you think, you're special because you are a veteran? Well, damn right you are special because you are a veteran. And the fact that we have this immigration crisis in our city, and we have illegal vendors all over. I'm in District 19. They're everywhere. We're a little sick and tired of it. You guys deserve what you deserve, and you fight like hell for that ticket that they had the nerve to give you. And anybody in this room that gets a ticket, you come and see me. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you should not be paying any tickets. You are a legal licensed vendor trying to make a living in the city of New York. The fact that you are veterans, that's a cherry on top of the cake. Because we got people slicing and dicing fruits and vegetables in our subways under filthy conditions. You guys want to open up a newsstand. You've offered several different other ways you could use the newsstand. You are here asking for help. And the city of New York is turning their back on you. And the state is turning their back on you. This should not be allowed. And as part of the Veterans Committee, we will do our very best, because I am sick and tired of paying $5 billion for illegals who exist in our society, allowed to do whatever they want, and our veterans who put their life on the line, and a lot of you disabled mentally and physically, are being treated like garbage. No, no, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Well said, Councilmember Palladino, and I want to adjourn this hearing.